Good morning. The time is 5:30 on January 1st. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us in the new year on Mountain News this morning. New year 2020. We have meteorologist Kelly McShane in the studio with us this morning. Kelly, we've been saying a dry day yesterday, dry today, but there's some changes coming in this new year.
Unfortunately, there are, but we are starting off the new year on a fantastic note. So overall, not too bad. Let's go ahead and check outside. We are looking at partly cloudy skies. Satellite and radar is showing a few clouds moving through, but hey, that is all that we have to worry about for today. Temperature's a little bit chilly to start. We're seeing upper 30s to lower 40s, so layer up this morning. If anybody is going to be out and about, I do think a lot of folks going to take it easy this morning. So overall, not too bad of a start, but winds are still cranking about 5 to 10 miles an hour, gusts up to 15 miles an hour. So still a little bit breezy out there this morning, but not too bad. If you have to head out today, we're just expecting mostly cloudy skies this morning and then partly cloudy this afternoon. So overall, not a bad day shaping up. I'll have more details on a little bit of wintry weather we're expecting here in just a little bit, Madison.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, it is dry this morning, but some areas are still dealing with flooding issues. Pompey Road remains impassable, and meteorologist Megan James talked to emergency management about what the situation is looking like in Powell County.
We saw a heavy dose of rain Sunday into Monday, and that caused flooding for some areas. It's going to be a possibility once again in the upcoming days with more rain on the horizon.
We're at 18.5 feet at the Red River in Clay City. Unfortunately, that community and others in Powell County are very frequented by flooding.
A river flood warning remains in effect for the Red River in Clay City for a good reason. You can see here that the river has flooded into nearby fields and water is covering the road. It's one of many common problem spots.
In Slade, the Middle Fork Basin, Roslyn, and Clay City, anywhere along the Red River in Powell County is very susceptible to flooding.
That's because they are fairly low-lying areas. Emergency management is well aware of that fact, and they're keeping a close eye on changing conditions.
In Powell County, it's just a lot of road flooding. On a few occasions, however, we do have some houses that do flood in Clay City and other areas along the Red River. So we just monitor it, keep a close eye on it, and generally we would try to warn the public as soon as we get notice of it.
Emergency management officials cannot remind people enough to please turn around and don't drown. In Powell County, meteorologist Megan James, WKYT.
Now, meanwhile, a road bridging Jackson and Laurel County is closed. Take a look at these pictures and you'll see why flooding Sunday damaged the bridge on Earl Road. The bridge goes over the Rockcastle River and the road is closed on both sides until further notice. And the southbound lanes of Interstate 75 are back open this morning after a deadly crash forced them to be shut down for several hours last night. Transportation officials tell us it happened around the 72-mile marker between Berea and Mount Vernon. We are told at least one person died, and right now it is unclear exactly what happened. And in Floyd County, the Prestonsburg Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own. Longest active member Johnny Shepard served Floyd County for more than 45 years. He died on Sunday. Department Chief Mike Brown says it is rare to find someone as giving and humble as Shepard.
Johnny Shepard was just one of a kind. Johnny was the type, he never complained. He never had an issue with anything. He was always willing to do whatever you needed him to do.
Now, Brown says Shepard not only brought his giving heart to the department, he also trained many of their current members. His visitation will begin at 4 o'clock tomorrow, and a memorial service will start at 6 inside the Mountain Arts Center. And after more than 35 years of service to the community, Pike County first responder James Earl Williams took his final trip through Belfry yesterday. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on the legacy he leaves behind.
A life of service creates a legacy.
He was the epitome of a hometown hero. He went above and beyond every day to help our community.
One living on long after you are gone.
It'll take multiple people to fill the shoes that he filled here at the fire department.
James Earl Williams lived one of those lives.
He was like a gentle giant. He had just a teddy bear kind of guy. He had a really soft heart, and you know, he did everything that he could for the community, and that's the way we were raised in this fire service, was to take care of our community.
He served Pike County as a volunteer firefighter for 36 years, doubling as a sheriff's deputy for 32. Since he was a teenager, he devoted his time to the community and began building a family outside of his own.
One of the things that we've instilled in those guys is that family is what's important. We stick together, and James was a big part of that.
Williams died Saturday, but that extended family continues.
We want them to know we love them, and we're always here for them night or day. As
his loved ones are left with memories.
He was the best of the best. He was a great friend. He was a hero. He was a hero to everybody.
Of a true hometown hero. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Assistant Chief Mike Brown says the department picked up a new rescue truck this past weekend. He says that truck was a direct result of Williams' devotion to the community. And nearly 5 months later, and not much has changed in a small Lincoln County community. In August, a gas pipeline exploded, killing a woman and injuring numerous others. Homes destroyed remain in ruins. The pipeline has since been repaired and the crater filled in. It's now green grass, and Donnie Turner doubts anyone will live near there again. In fact, he questions anyone wanting to live close to any other gas lines.
What information I have found out in regards to how construction can be done around these pipelines, buyer beware.
Part of Indian Camp Road remains closed, and a deputy was hired by Enbridge for security. The Lincoln County Sheriff says that's to keep trespassers away while legal work resumes in property acquisition. And $10.5 million is the reward of a jury decided for a Louisville woman in December after a surgical sponge was left inside her, leading to the loss of her leg. Connie Leonard has the story.
It took a lot longer for the surgery than they had thought.
In 2011, vascular surgeon Dr. Marvin Morris accidentally cut a vein, causing what he described as a bloody mess. Surgical sponges soak up the blood. University Med Center nurses, close to their lunchtime, were supposed to do a sponge count.
The nurses failed to do a count thereafter, and a sponge remained for 6 years inside this woman's abdomen and eroded into her intestine.
Does that make it their fault the sponge was left inside of Carolyn and not you?
Well, I think ultimately, we're a team.
But when later asked if he should share the blame, the doctor said no. What's worse, say her attorneys, in 2015, as Bursty suffered multiple complications, another doctor working at but not for Baptist Hospital saw the sponge on a scan and didn't tell her. Her family doctor got the information 19 days later and also didn't report it.
It's, just aggravating. Very frustrating.
In 2016, another CT scan at Baptist showed the 18 by 18 sponge, and Bursty was told.
My prosthetic doctor.
The jury also determined improper care at Franciscan Health led to her left leg being amputated. She's now being cared for by her mother.
Everything's changed. I used to take care of my grandkids. I used to be at home. I used to take my son back and forth to work. I'm not allowed to drive. I'm not, I can't do anything.
It was truly unbelievable. I mean, this is a sweet woman who would not hurt a fly, and for them to leave a sponge in her and not tell her about it, and then her end up getting her leg cut off, and them not owning the responsibility for that, it was just unbelievable.
And now in Tennessee, one Caryville man is facing charges of illegally killing an elk. Officials with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Office says 33-year-old Sean Donnie admitted to killing an elk inside the North Cumberland Wildlife Management Area in Campbell County. Donnie is set to appear in Campbell County Court on February 20th. And in West Virginia, one Logan County man is wanted for attempted murder. Logan County Sheriff's deputies say they were responding to a shooting in the Whitman area when 55-year-old Ronnie Jr. Copper left the scene. Witnesses told police they saw Copper arguing with the victim, Terry Fields, shortly before the incident. Deputies also say Cooper ran across the road and began firing multiple rounds at Fields, hitting him 4 times. Fields was flown to Cable County Huntington Hospital, where his condition is unknown. Anyone with information about Ronnie Jr. Cooper is asked to call 911, the Logan Sheriff's Office at 304-792-8590. And a puppy that was stolen at gunpoint in Maryland Monday is safe and back home with his family. Lobo was walking about with his owner when a woman approached, pulling a gun, and demanded the puppy. There was a struggle between the owner, the woman, and another male suspect, and the owner received minor injuries. He said the woman pulled the trigger of her gun more than once, but it failed to fire. The couple made off with Lobo, but the story went viral on social media, and somebody spotted him Tuesday afternoon in Washington, D.C.
After taking his dog, they tried to fire the gun at him multiple times. Luckily, the gun never went off. A pet is more than just a pet. It's a family member. That's the reason the person was willing to fight for his pet, in spite of a gun being pointed at him.
The suspects are still at large, and they were last seen in a Ford Crown Victoria with Virginia tags. The hood and front fender are black, and police say the woman has tattoos on her face, and both should be considered armed and dangerous. And the latest American Girl doll is a surfer girl and the first American Girl doll ever with a disability.
Well, guys, we finally made it to 2020. I will have your New Year's Day and a weekend forecast coming up next.